I started fishing with my dad when I was 15. The truant officer came a couple times to tell me to go back to school, but I didn't. I went fishing. And I fished with him rockcod, salmon, albacore, you name it, and we did all fishing. Then I had a stepbrother that had a boat, and he went to Alaska, and he took me. I went with him 3 years fishing Alaska, and we came high boat of the whole cannery for 2 years. High boat is they caught the most fish.
What's the name of the boat?
Cinderella.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, he was from San Pedro, and he used to go dancing there at the Cinderella. So what happened? The third year I was in Alaska, he was gonna go play poker with the rest of the guys out there, and he says, take the boat and tie it up. What they had was, in the middle of the river, they had a line that you grabbed and tied on the boat. So what happened is, I was holding my hand up on the railing, and I grabbed the line, and the tide was running so fast, I couldn't hold it, and I fell overboard. Now in Alaska, usually, when you fall over, it's bye-bye baby. So they seen me fall overboard from the wharf, and they got what they call a monkey boat that runs in and out. And what saved me was, I started to kick, but the tide was running so hard that when I fell down was the line. That's what I held on to as long as I could. And the monkey boat came out and picked me up. And that's my lucky day, because the tide was ebbing. I would have ended up in Japan someplace.
Yeah, my mother told me that's the last time you're going to Alaska. And that was the last time you went to Alaska.
What year do you think that was?
63,
19
60s.
in the 50s.
No, it was the 60s.
Huh?
I was in high school. About 64, 60.
61, 62.
It was right in
That's
there.
right, yeah.
It was in 60s.
So we got a decade age. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In there somewhere.
Well, I told him this is my last year. And lucky I'm living. There's very few guys that go overboard in Alaska. That tide, you get 25-foot tides in no time. You could come to the dock and you can't get there, but you wait and the tide starts coming in that fast. Before you know it, you're able to tie up and climb the ladder. There's 30-foot tides that go up and down so fast.
Wow. That's a lot. I mean, most places the tide ebbs a foot,
Yeah.
maybe 2 feet.
Well, there was
That's amazing.
one of my buddies went fishing in Alaska, and they laid out what they call banks. There's a banks there, and when there's low tide, probably it's okay, but when the tide starts coming in, it's like a rushing river coming in fast. And the boat turned over, and poor guy, that was Chattanooga, right?
He died.
And both of them, they never did find a hide or hair of them.
They drowned.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous. Alaska
So
is like Sammy goes. It's still basically the same type of fishing, same tides and everything.
You know,
It's
Alaska
very
is,
dangerous.
Alaska is, when you're hungry, you can't eat because you're working. When you're sleepy, you can't sleep because you work constantly. Till they call a period. They give you a 24-hour period, so you work 24 hours. And the period's over, you have to come in and load. And a lot of times, you don't come in, you load what they call a scow. It's like a big barge. And you get down, you eat there, and you load there. Those days, you used to have when you loaded and the tide was low, you used to have to pew the fish. What they call a pew is a stick, like an ice pick, and you stick the fish and throw them up. Now today, it's altogether different. What they do now is, you set up the fish on the boat, they got what they call a big net with a hoop around it, and they put the fish in there. When they come to the barge, they snap it on and raise it up.
They take it, it's not as much.
Eliminate a lot of work.
And that saves a lot of work, but that was after my days. Yeah. And the first day we went fishing, I'll never forget, we laid out and the tide was ebbing. And we had a lot of fish in the net, but we got stuck high and dry. We waited, and when the tide came in, it came in like a rushing river. It snapped the line, and we lost all 3 nets full of fish. I mean, it was gone. That fast.
Wow.
That's where the tides are.
And the
That's
net,
so
and you
fast.
lost the nets too.
Yeah. That's how fast the tides run over there.
Wow.
Gotta be real careful.
So when you got back to Monterey from Alaska, you kept fishing?
Yeah. I went fishing, and then we used to fish sardines there, and the sardines disappeared. So I got a job at working on the shore. Any job I could get, labor or whatever. I worked in a sand plant for 21 years, throwing 100-pound bags of sand in a boxcar.
That was a job body sand plant.
No wonder you Italians were good at fighting. All of you just did heavy manual labor all the time.
Pretty much.
Just weight training all the
Yeah.
time.
I got one lung that's full of sand.
Right now.
A couple of guys died of silicosis. It was silica sand.
It's fine, fine sand in the air.
Not only that, the equipment was old and had a lot of leaky pipes that the dust, you could see it was like fog in there, the dust. That was, then after that, I went back, they closed the plant up, I went back fishing.
When did they close the plant?
And then, excuse me, then after fishing, I went to work for a lumber yard. I worked there for quite a long time.
Tyler lumber. Yeah.
And they closed that up.
And you retired.
I retired when I was 80.
What?
Oh,
80?
85, I mean, the date, 1985.
Oh, that's
I thought you were saying 85. Yep.
I might retire in 85. Maybe.
Oh, I was 65.
Yeah, that sounds more better.
Well, thank you very much.
And I went back to fishing with my dad had a little boat, and I used to go fishing with that.
Nice.
Yeah. One time it was real windy, and him and my grandfather come in, and I told my father, "You want $20? I'll give it to you. Where the hell are you going with this kind of weather?"
Because his father drowned.
Yeah, my grandfather ended up drowning.
Really?
Fishing, yeah.
While
But he-
fishing?
But he always told me, son, never die in a bed.
Hmm.
My whole life has been the sea, and when I die, that's where I'll die. And he did. Yeah.
Wow.